Before we return to Maya's nightmare, here's what you missed. It began at 1:18 a.m. The station was silent, only a buzzing light and an engine that purred like something alive and a single passenger grinning through stitched lips. Outside, billboards bled new words with every mile. Welcome back. Population 1. Population none. Phones died. Windows showed only endless black. And then a whisper slid behind Maya's ear. We don't stop. For the living. Now the doors are opening again. Maya stumbled onto the cracked asphalt, gasping for air that felt too thick to breathe. The bus door clanged shut behind her with a finality that rattled her bones. When she turned, the road was empty. No taillights, no engine fading into the distance. Only fog, a slow, crawling fog that muffled even the sound of her own heartbeat. She clutched her phone, still no signal. The time on the screen was frozen at 1:18 a.m. It hadn't advanced a single minute since she boarded the bus. Far ahead, through the rolling mist, a dull amber glow flickered like a dying lantern. A sign emerged from the fog as she moved closer. Its letters cracked and peeling, Hollow Pines Inn, vacancy. The sign swayed though there was no wind. One bulb sputtered and sparked like an angry insect. It wasn't just a hotel, it was the only building in sight. The lobby door opened with a slow creak before she touched it. Inside, the air was warm but carried a sour, metallic tang, like pennies left in damp soil. The wallpaper, once floral, was now a faded brown, curling away from the walls like old scabs. A bell sat on the counter, dark with rust. Behind the desk stood a woman, or something wearing the shape of a woman. Her face was hidden by a lace veil, and her hands rested unnaturally still on the counter, palms flat, fingers long, and too many. Welcome, the figure said, voice smooth and low. You look tired. Room 7 is ready for you. Maya's mouth went dry. I didn't, she began, but the woman's hand slid a tarnished brass key across the counter before she could finish. The key was warm, too warm, as if it had just been pulled from a living body. How did you? The woman tilted her head. You've been expected. Maya backed away. I just need to use your phone. My car broke down. There are no phones here, the woman interrupted, each word a perfect blade. Room 7 will keep you safe. For now the hallway stretched long and narrow, carpet faded to a dull crimson that seemed to pulse beneath her feet. The numbers on the doors were crooked, scratched deep into the wood as though carved by desperate hands. Each step she took echoed twice, once in front of her and once behind, as if someone walked in perfect rhythm just out of sight. Room 7 waited at the very end. Its door was slightly ajar, a thin line of light spilling into the hall like a blade of pale moon. She hesitated. Behind her, the hallway seemed to ripple. For a split second, every door opened a fraction of an inch, just enough to reveal rows of shadowed faces, mouths stitched, eyes blank, all leaning forward to listen. She pushed the door open and stumbled inside. The room was small, almost normal. A single bed, a cracked mirror, a lamp flickering with a sickly yellow glow. But the air carried a faint rhythmic thump, like a slow heartbeat muffled by the walls. She dropped the key on the nightstand. It hissed like hot metal in water. Her reflection in the cracked mirror lagged half a second behind her movements. When she raised a trembling hand to test it, the reflection didn't raise its own. Instead, it tilted its head and smiled. A wide, deliberate smile that stretched too far. Not again, Maya whispered, backing away. The door behind her clicked shut. She lunged for the handle, locked. The key she dropped on the nightstand was gone. From the mirror came a faint scratching, like nails dragging across glass. Letters began to appear inside the fractured reflection, scrawled in black tar that bled upward. Welcome back, Maya. The reflection pressed its palm against the inside of the glass. Her own hand burned with the urge to match it, as if the mirror itself pulled at her bones. A sudden knock rattled the door. 3 slow, deliberate pounds. Then silence. Another 3. Faster. Then a voice soft and familiar. Her own voice whispering through the crack. Room 7 keeps you safe. For now her knees weakened. She backed toward the window. Outside lay only fog. No ground. Just a swirling void that smelled of damp earth and rusted metal. A faint hum rose behind her. She turned. The reflection was gone. In its place stood the bus driver, cap tilted low, eyeless face smooth and gray. His grin split impossibly wide. "You stepped off the bus," he rasped, each word vibrating the walls. "But the ride never ends." He stepped forward, but the glass held him like water. His hand pressed against the barrier, tar dripping from his fingertips. The mirror rippled like a pond struck by a single drop of blood. Maya grabbed the nightstand lamp and hurled it at the glass. It shattered with a deafening crack. But the pieces didn't fall. They hung in the air, suspended like shards of ice. Each shard reflected a different scene. Her boarding the bus, her running down the endless aisle, her sitting in this very room, asleep, eyes stitched shut. And in the largest shard, the driver stood behind her, right where she stood now, leaning close enough to breathe against her neck. She spun. No one. The door creaked open by itself. Beyond it, the hallway had changed. It was no longer the inn. It was the inside of the bus, but older, rotting seats torn open to reveal dark, writhing shapes inside. The stitched passengers sat silently, heads turning as one. Their mouths open wide, threads snapping to reveal endless black tunnels where throats should be. A low chant rose, 1,000 overlapping whispers of her name. Maya. Maya. She ran. The hallway bus twisted beneath her feet, floorboards bending like wet cardboard. Every door she passed led to another room 7, each containing a different version of herself. One screaming, one laughing, one sitting perfectly still as stitches crawled across her lips. Finally, she reached the exit door at the far end. A single sign hung above it, letters glowing in sickly red. Check out. Her chest tightened. Check out. Was that escape or something worse? Behind her, the chant grew louder, sharper, like knives scraping glass. The driver's voice boomed over the noise. Every ride ends where it begins. Every guest checks out the same. The floor cracked. Tar surged up through the gaps, grasping at her ankles with cold, sticky fingers. She yanked free and lunged at the door. Her hand struck the handle, but the metal dissolved beneath her grip, melting into a slick black mouth that whispered in her own voice, "Stay." She screamed and kicked the door open. Blinding white light flooded her vision. When her sight cleared, she stood once again on the empty road. The fog was gone. The sky above shimmered with pale morning gray. Behind her, nothing. No inn. No bus. Only the cracked asphalt stretching endlessly in both directions. Her phone buzzed in her pocket. The screen flickered to life. The time read 1:18 a.m. again, and beneath the time a single notification. Hollow Pines. Next pickup in 5 minutes. Her breath caught. Far down the road, a low rumble began to build. A pair of dim headlights pierced the morning haze, growing brighter, closer, until she recognized the shape of an old midnight blue bus, rolling silently toward her. The engine purred like a heartbeat too slow to belong to anything alive. The doors began to open. And this time, someone inside whispered her name. Maya stepped back, shaking her head, but the road behind her had vanished into endless fog. There was nowhere else to go, only the bus, and the sound of her own heartbeat, slowing, waiting, matching the rhythm of the approaching engine. The last ride was never over. It only paused until you were ready to board again.
What do you think? What will happen to Maya in next horror and suspense part? Tell us in comments. Subscribe for next part.